What's up, Fire fam? My name's Kiahonfire and welcome back to New World. Today I'm going to be doing a video about factions. Which faction should I join, you might ask? Which one's better than the other one? How do I go about joining a faction? What is the lore behind the factions? What are the mechanics behind the factions? What do I gain by being in a faction? I'm going to answer those questions hopefully today for you in this video. So in New World, you've got three different factions: the yellows, the purples, and the greens, aka the Covenant, Syndicate, and the Marauders. The Covenant are religious and they follow the Spark. So the thing with them is they're going to be following God. You're going to get a lot of church-related buildings. You're going to get like religious attire, and you can notice them via their yellowy to orange scheme of colours that they use and outfits that they get. They are very much religious fanatics, and that's the kind of lore behind them. That's what they speak for, that's what they do. Now, if we move over to the Marauders, they're slightly different. They're more about war. They believe in strength and warfare and what it takes to survive in this area. So, they believe that the land of Eternium is worth fighting for, and those strong enough to claim it can go ahead and claim it. You'll notice their colour schemes are going to be green, and that's what they kind of look like. And here we go, that is them right there. Let's move over to the Syndicates. These are our more brainy people here. They're like mystics and scholars, people that believe in magic. And they wear like a monkish attire. That's what they like. And they wear purple stuff. So that's what they do. What I definitely recommend when picking a faction is wherever you want your hub town, so the place you're going to hang out the most. You want to have a look what is most prominent in that area. And I definitely recommend having a look at that. So for me, when I first joined this one, in this area there was a lot of yellow people. So yellow was going to be the one that's going to be most beneficial to me, because that's going to be the most likely one to go ahead and take over the area. So, and indeed they did. My judgment was right. They did take over the area I'm in right now. That means because they own this place, we get some benefits because they do. We got a discount for fast travel, discount for taxes, discount for houses, and all of the above. And we got global luck and a gathering bonus. So, faction members, governing company members, all of that good stuff. So you got lots of different discounts here as well. So if you can get the company that owns a place as well, it's quite handy. But if you're just in that faction, you're going to get that lovely 40% discount on fast travel, and that's what's going to matter really when you come here, because you want that. Of course, when you fast travel, distance and encumbrance cost is taken into it as well, but at least the base cost won't be as expensive as it would be, as if I was to go and travel to a green town, where I don't get any of those benefits, and it's going to cost me a lot more to be able to go to these locations, because it's owned by somebody else. So that's something you want to take into consideration. What people are the most around in your area. So if your town had like a ton of green people, then you'd probably want to go green, because you would know that green is probably going to try and take over the area. And it's the same with anywhere else really. But that doesn't, each town can have like different populations of people as well. You've got to bear that in mind. So wherever you want your hub town, you probably want to pick the most population in that area. You want to stick with it. So if I was in Everfall, I probably would have wanted to pick green or Monarch's Bluff, because there is a lot of green action over there. That being said, these places can be taken over by other factions at any time, because of course there's going to be people from different factions all over here anyway, as you're seeing on my screen right now. There's a ton of purples and greens right now on my screen. They're just chilling in this area as well. So anytime people could take it over instead, and then you would lose that bonus. But it's like taking a really good chance at being able to have yellow at least. Owning the area, so you get that nice benefit, and that's what makes it worth it really. The other way to pick a faction if you don't really know what to do is if you have a friend group, you all want to pick the same faction, because then you can do PvP activities together, and you're not stuck out on your own. It's a good idea to be all in the same group, so you can all be in the same company and reap those benefits. You can go to war together and all of that good stuff. So if you have friends playing, you all probably want to go within the same faction, because that's going to be more beneficial to you than all being in different separate ones, because then you're going to be playing separately, and that's going to be boring, let's be honest. At the end of the day, the option's going to be up to you which one you want to pick. It's totally on your plate to choose from. None of the options you pick are wrong. It just means sometimes I would say if you wanted more action and your map is just like literally just green and purple and you have like a massive depopulation of one of the factions in your area or your server, then you'll probably want to pick one of the green or the purple so you can get on the wars and have fun in the wars. Because the problem is some servers have like such a depopulation of some factions, and you'll notice it, that you will not be able to get in with any of the action or the PvP action when it comes to sieges and stuff. And it will just be more boring to be in that depopulated faction if everybody else is picking the other factions. You can either fight back by doing yellow, for instance, on that one, and have a go and see what you like, or you can join the two most populated ones and you can actually get some fun within the game via that way. But you'll have to see with that one. I probably wouldn't recommend doing it that way round unless you're noticing like a really big bias on your server, is what I'm trying to say. For instance, like mine's early days, so any of the three is fine to join. There's no like depopulation in one of the factions. Like there's not one being favorited over the other really much here right now. It's all pretty equal and well distributed, so that's not a worry I would have to worry about on my server. But if it was literally just like all green and purple, then I would be a bit more concerned about picking yellow if I was on that server, if I'm honest with you. Because that means I might not be able to get in on some of the action that the other people are getting in on, because there isn't just the people to be able to do it. End of the day, another way you could check this out actually is by looking at companies and seeing what kind of companies are about. So, like I was saying, there's a really good distribution of different people and different companies and different factions on my server, so it's not too much of a problem. But if you have a lot of companies that are just green and purple and then you didn't really have any yellow, then you probably would not want to join yellow end of the day because you wouldn't be getting in any action. But that's just my thoughts on it. It's not always a good idea to do that though, that being said. Because then again, the people that did pick yellow are going to be missing out. So you'll have to see with that one. It's very server dependent. If you actually go near these places, they should have like a charter that you can read about the factions as well. So you kind of get what they're about lore-wise. So for the Covenant, it says, "Keep faith. Shall we rejoice? Humankind's oldest enemy is gone. Death is dead. We have reached the promised land, yet there are some who call it a false promise. This land seeks out to ruin, they cry. But even more dangerous are the enemies within. Moral weakness binds us to the truth. Those who live in the darkness can never recognize paradise. But where eyes fail, faith sees. The Covenant carries the spark. In our time of need, the spark carries us. Its clarity is our greatest gift. We bring the light of the spark to our darkest corners. We keep it shining at any cost, against any foe. And one day, I will shine bright enough to reveal the paradise itself." So that's the Covenant's doctrine. Then we go to the Syndicate's charter. "Reach exceeding. All worlds are bound by certain natural laws. A scientist's job is to know them. Thanks to Newton, we now know that small echoes the large song of the spears is the same tune as a falling apple. With a microscope, gain knowledge of invisible life. Too small to see, yet all around us these discoveries don't change the world, because they have always been true. But they change just humankind. We have grown knowledge is transformative. Creation's most powerful force. There is so much we still don't know about Internum. Why don't people die? What animates the lost? Who were the ancients? We must ask these questions to find the answers. We have scratched the surface of the secret depths of the place this holds. It must be studied and understood, regardless of the cost, and once we understand reality, we can start to improve it. All rational beings are welcome to the Syndicate. Join us and help us draw back the veil." And then we have the Marauders Manifesto. No barriers. Let's keep this short. We are the Marauders. We don't make fancy speeches. We don't need preachy causes. The only thing we need is ourselves. This island is stuffed with opportunities for people with ambition. People who take what they want. Riches, power, respect. You want these things too, don't you? Everyone does. We're just honest enough to admit it. Nothing is fair. Nothing has meaning outside the meaning you give it. Embrace it. We are the masters and mistresses of our domain. It's a brutal world out there. Don't be a victim. Be a marauder. And that's the kind of idea you get about the three factions, story-wise, if that matters to you. And it's pretty much what mostly matters when it comes to picking a faction, really, because they're all equal. With the gear you get, they're all equal. With the weapons you get, it's quite balanced out that way. There isn't one that's stronger than the other in those regards. So when you open a faction board with them, you're all going to get the same quests that you can do, with the same objectives that you can do. They will have slightly different rewards, as in different colours. So with this one, you've got like orange, yellow looks around the place. You're going to have different armor ratings here and there. Slightly different, but it's not going to be much different from the other ones. Just pretty much the colour scheme is going to be the most different thing when it comes to this one. Then, of course, it takes its own faction currency. So Covenant's going to take Covenant tokens and so on. But as you can see by looking through like all of these places, they have all the different weapons that you can use here and pick up at the higher levels or the lower levels. You can buy all the kind of different weapons and armors through this, so you don't need to be worried about that at all when it comes to picking a faction. So when you get into a faction, you'll be about between level 7 and 10. So that's when you'll be picking a faction, and you'll be doing the mission What It Takes, where you'll have to talk to Albert Riches. Before that, you would have set a respawn point as a camp outside. So you talk to the guy in your town, and then you get a new mission called New Alliances, where you have to speak with each of the faction leaders. Once you've spoken to all of those, you get to choose your allegiance, so that's when you get to talk to one of the three, and that's how you get to pick a faction. It's really that simple, so just follow the main mission, and you'll get there really quickly to be able to pick a faction mission. And then once you've picked them, you can go ahead and do all the faction missions that they have to offer that you can find on their faction board. So the PvP and the PvE ones. That way you can get points to be able to buy rewards, to be able to claim these faction points. Well, and these factions all have interesting different things on them as well. I mean, the Minor Rune of Holding's very nice because you can make a new bag with that where you can hold more stuff, and you can get a bunch of other stuff as well. So like when it gets to about the Templar tier, that's when I might want to buy some of the armor in here. They did make it a little bit more expensive, but it's some really good stuff, and you got gem sockets as well in these ones, so you can go ahead and use the gems for that. But I'll explain gems in another video for that. But that's pretty much the differences, and I hope this helped you join a faction or pick a faction on whatever server you are on. But that's enough from me. Thank you for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.